welcome. My name is Lexi Jong, and here I like to talk about luxury makeup. Today, I have a really exciting collab video. So I have been looking forward to this for quite a while. We've had this planned for several weeks, and what we're going to be doing is we are going to be creating a springtime look using spring flowers as our inspiration. So I'm working with Sean from Chantecaille Beauty, and she has chosen the hibiscus flower. And I am sure she's going to do a fantastic job. I cannot wait to see her look. If you're not familiar with her channel, she brings the science behind beauty. So she really takes a lot of look at the ingredients, why things work together, why things don't, what is something that is a good idea to pair with it versus things that you might want to avoid and so forth. So her main focus is mostly on skincare, but she also does a lot with luxury beauty, particularly Chanel. So if you haven't checked out our collab yesterday from Chanel, be sure to check that out as well. I am also working from Jennifer from Just Glow Firefly, and she is going to be working with the peony today. And I think this flower totally suits her. If you're not familiar with Jen's channel, be sure to check her out. She does a lot with luxury beauty. She always has the newest releases. And if you don't follow her on Instagram, she does like get ready with me's on Instagram in her stories several times a week. So definitely be sure to check her out. And then finally, I'm working with Jennifer from All Feisty, and she is going to be doing hydrangeas. And hydrangeas, they're one of my favorite flowers. Actually, in my old house, I dug up the entire front garden and all of the bushes and replanted everything with these more unique hydrangea bushes. And unfortunately, we moved before I got to see their full potential, but they were so beautiful while it lasted. Anyway, if you haven't checked out Jen at All Feisty, be sure to check out her channel. Again, she also does luxury makeup. She has the latest and greatest new releases. She is like the queen of Dior. She has every single Dior queen from the new collection. So definitely check her out as well. And finally today, I will be working with the Dutch Iris. And I had a really hard time deciding what to do because I love spring flowers, particularly the ones that come from bulbs. So again, as I mentioned, I dug up my whole garden at my former house, and I actually ended up planting thousands of flower bulbs. It was beautiful every spring. So I absolutely love flowers. I had so many that it was just really hard to decide, but I really wanted to focus on something with more of a purpley blue color. So I decided to go with a classic Dutch iris. So we've got the purpley blue, and then we've got a little bit of that white and that bright yellow that comes out of the stamen. And I am very, very excited to try this out. So I figured we would do this get ready with me style. And we're doing the video today in honor of Groundhog's Day, which, you know, it actually really surprised me. I don't know how many of you are familiar with Groundhog's Day, but my husband wasn't. So he had no clue what Groundhog's Day was. He thought I was totally making it up. So I thought it was hilarious. So I thought it was kind of, you know, good timing. We'll see whether or not the groundhog sees his shadow or not. If you're not familiar with Groundhog's Day, it is it's sort of like a tradition that predicts spring. So this started back in the 1800s, and it actually it's kind of celebrated might be the word, but in North America. So the US and Canada both recognize Groundhog's Day. It's not official, it's not scientific, but basically the groundhog, Punxsutawney Phil in Philadelphia, he comes out, actually I think it's in Punxsutawney, Pennsylvania. But anyway, he comes out of his burrow. I'm sure they kind of push him out. And if he sees his shadow, meaning it's a sunny day, then that means he hides, runs back into our burrow. We've got 6 more weeks of winter. If it's a cloudy day and he doesn't see his shadow, then we're going to have an early spring. So we'll see what his prediction is. He has about a 40% accuracy rate. So we'll see. Now on my skin right now, all I have on is the Surratt Perfectionist Primer, and I have the Tom Ford Emotion Proof Eye Primer on. So I put that on. This is the Westman Atelier Lit Up Stick in the original lit shade. So I'm just gonna put this on. And the reason I wanted to put this on underneath my foundation is I want a little bit of this sheen from the highlight. And this one in particular, I'm not sure, let's see, can you see there's like a little bit of this blue pink radiance to it, like this little reflect. So I thought that would kind of go well with the color of the Dutch Iris. For foundation today, I'm going to go in with the Couture Moisture Foundation. I wear shade 012, and we're just going to apply this all over. So I'm using the Kyoto F04, which was formerly the Fupa 03 brush. And this is a synthetic foundation brush. It is my favorite foundation brush. All right, so that's gonna be it for the foundation. You can see some of the radiance from the lit up highlighting stick. I definitely poured out too much foundation. And for under eye concealer, I'm going to use the Chantecaille Camouflage Stilo. So I've mentioned this before, but I always have a delay with this packaging. So I click it and I have to wait a few seconds before, product really comes out. Let's see if anything's really coming out yet. So there we go. It's starting to flow through now. So that'll be it. And sometimes, I don't really use heavy concealers too often, but when I do want a little bit more coverage from this, one of the things I like to do is I'll put this on here and just let it sit for a minute so it kind of dries a little bit. And then when I go to pat it in, it provides a little bit more coverage than it does if you put it on right away. Now today, I'm not really too worried about the coverage. So just gonna go with that. I always feel like I have to do blush after eyes so that, the colors really work well together. So we're gonna go ahead and start on the eyes now. So I'm not really sure how this is gonna go yet, but we're gonna start off with the Rephr 15. This is the Viseart Violet Entendu palette, and we're gonna go into this light purple, and I'm gonna kind of put this, in the crease and all over. So we kind of have like a little bit of this lavender shade all over, and I'm gonna buff this very lightly all the way up to the brow. And just getting a light dusting of this on the lid as well, but I'm kind of leaving the inner corner alone. Just want a little tiny bit of this here. Okay, next I'm going to go in a bit deeper with the Rephr 13 into this matte shade, and I'm going to add this to the crease as well, just being a little bit more targeted. And you can see that this is a beautiful violet shade with a little bit of pink to it. Okay, just taking the Rephr 15 again, just kind of blending that together a little bit. Next up, I'm taking the Surratt shade in Violaceous, and this is the KZ06 brush. I'm just going to wipe this very softly all over my entire lid here. Again, kind of leaving that inner corner. Just kind of going all the way over here. Okay, and next I'm going to go into this shade in the Viseart palette with the Sonia G Soft Shader. And I'm going to go over the Surratt shade with that. And you can see that they have similar tones. And next we are going to go into Creme de la Creme from Surratt. And I'm taking the Rephr 12 brush. And you can see it's just kind of like this dome thing. I'm going to put this in the inner corner. I don't know if this is going to be right enough here. We're going to kind of buff this into it. And this is representing like the inner portion of the flower. Right, so I can see that the purple goes over further on my right eye, so I'm just going to add a little bit more to my left. And just going back in with the white there. And I want this area to be a little sparkly, so I'm taking Scintillant from Surratt, which is a white sparkly shade. This one's got a little bit more of a silver tone to it. Just going to kind of go over that a little bit, focusing more on the inner corner part, not blending it out quite as far. And I'm taking this white core crayon from Linda Hallberg, and I'm just kind of making some little like lines coming out. So bottom, middle, and top, just to have a little bit brighter white in spots. And going back in with the rougher 12 and just kind of softening that a touch. All right, now before I move on to the yellow, I want to make sure my purple is enough. So I'm going to go in one more time with this purple with the soft shader. And again, this is the Busy Art palette, and I'm just going to kind of pat this on top here. And now I want to use the yellow. This is Sarin from Surratt, and I'm going to use the Sonia G pencil one because I just want a little bit of yellow basically coming out with this white here, representing the yellow that's coming out from the center of the flower. So add a little bit more of that here. And I'm just going to put a little bit of this down here. And I'm just taking the rougher 12 and just kind of blending those edges a little bit. And you can see I'm actually holding this at the end so I don't have a lot of control with it. So I want a really soft transition. And that's it for that part. Now I do want to also represent the stem. So I thought we would go in with a green eyeliner. For the green eyeliner, I'm going to use the Shiseido. This is the Kajal Ink Artist in number 6 by Rodo Green. And we're going to put this around the eyes. Actually, before I do that, I'm going to actually add some of this purple with the pencil one brush to the lower lash line as well. So I have the green kind of going over it. So I'm making like a thicker line here with the purple. And we'll keep the green closer to the lash line. Okay, I'm wiping off the brush and then just kind of blending the yellow and the purple together a little bit. Right, so here's the Byroto green, and I'm just gonna kind of make a line close to the lash line. And you can see with this crayon style, it's gonna be a thicker line, which is what I wanted so that the green really shows up. We're gonna go around the eye here. So I'm not going to do the inner portion of the eye with this. Just kind of leave it like this. And I think that actually makes my eyes look a bit bigger. What do you think? And just because it's me, I'm taking the rougher 12. I'm just kind of softly going over that line. Just a touch. Pencil one on this side. So I was just playing with this and I never knew this, but this actually comes off and you have a smudger here. So that is great. If I had known, I would have used the smudger, but I was just screwing this back down and I popped this off. So good to know if you have one of these Shiseido Kajal Ink Artist crayons. I had no idea. For mascara, I'm going in with the Victoria Beckham Future Lash. And I want something that is going to keep my lashes defined and separated. All right, so this is my eye look for the Dutch Iris. Now let's go ahead and finish up the rest of the look. So for brows, I'm using the Gucci brow pencil. I just sharpened it, so this is 03. And every time I sharpen this, you know, obviously you get a little bit of a deeper line in the beginning. So anyway, back to Groundhog Day. I don't know about you guys, but I had always learned about it when I was in school. You know, we used to do like Groundhog's Day things and stuff like that. I don't know how my husband had never heard of it, but he really thought I was making the whole thing up. And we looked up Punxsutawney Phil, and you know, he's like, I didn't realize this. Like, I know technically they're using like a different groundhog, you know, at least every few years, but the legend is that it's the same groundhog. So I just never quite realized that part. And another thing I didn't realize about Groundhog's Day is it actually stems from a few different cultures. So I think it was Candlemas with, was it maybe the German culture? So I'm going to use the Kjaer Weis Cream Blush in Blossoming, and I'm using this Kyoto F07. It's like the mini fupa, or the mini one that I use for my foundation. And I'm just using it directly from here. So anyway, back to Candlemas. I don't really know much about it, but apparently that in, I think it was in Germany, they did something with badgers, and they were using them to predict the best time for like planting, when to start hiring workers and things like that. And when they came over here to America, they couldn't find badgers, but they found woodchucks. And so they ended up using it for that. And it was really more just like a big set of parties and festivities to kind of celebrate, because, you know, during the winter, it's, you know, not quite as festive. It's cold and people weren't getting together quite as much. So it was really just like a big excuse for a party. Apparently Groundhog's Day, though, falls exactly between the spring and autumn equinox, I believe. I could totally have that wrong, but it's definitely something like that. And that's why this particular day was chosen. And I want to stick with a cream highlight on the cheeks as well. So I'm taking the Ritual Defeat in Ice Bow. I'm just using my finger here. Tap that right there. That'll be it. Don't want too much. All right, and just put whatever's left under the brow here. And for lips, I want to go in with one of my favorite spring shades. This is the Guerlain Rouge G in number 62. And I just have to show off this case again. This is one of my favorites. This was last year's spring collection, and it was really hard to get the cases. You know, this is actually a little bit too pink. We're going to blot this, and then I'm going to put a more neutral leaning gloss on top. So on top, I'm going to add the Chanel Cocoa Gloss in 722. I think this is like Noche Moscata. And that's gonna be it for my look then. So what do you guys think? Does it seem reminiscent of the Dutch Iris? I personally really like it. I had a lot of fun. If you guys are interested in seeing more things like this, please let me know down below. And I just want to give a quick shout out to my friend Maria Chung. If you don't already follow her on Instagram, make sure you do. She does challenges in this type of style all the time on Instagram, where, you know, you've got like one thing, like during the winters, there were some that were inspired by like the seasons. Right now, she's starting one using the color pink and so forth. So this kind of reminds me of this, and it's actually her birthday today. So happy birthday to Maria, and I hope you're having a great day, and hopefully spring will come early. Hard to believe, because I don't know about where you guys are, but we just had a I mean, it's not a huge snowstorm, but it's a decent sized snowstorm finally. So we've been waiting for this for quite a while. The kids are very excited. So anyway, thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed this. Don't forget to check out all of my friends and their flowers. So again, we have Sean with the hibiscus, Jennifer at Just Glow Firefly with the peony, and Jennifer from All Feisty with hydrangeas. So make sure you check them out, and thank you so much for joining us. Have a great day, stay safe and healthy, and let's hope for an early spring.